Good evening and welcome to SAFC Fan TV and another edition of Thursday Night Live. And there's only three of us tonight. Joining myself, Philly, we have the Mad Mistake. Terry, have you had a good day today?
Very tired. Just getting out of bed. Thought I'd have a nana nap in the afternoon. I'm up 6 days at 5 this week, and I just felt really, really shattered today. I've fallen asleep at work at some point. So I thought I better go to bed for now, otherwise they're going to be a bit boring tonight. I've fallen asleep on the channel.
To be honest, mate, it happens to everybody when you get to your age. That's what happens.
Exactly, I know. If you want to look this good, you need to sleep on the afternoon, you know.
That's where I'm going wrong then, isn't it? We've also been joined by the superb Jack Shields. Jack, how you doing? Have you had a good day?
Yeah, I've had a good day. I'm just, I wish it was Friday, to be honest. Phil seems to be dragging this week, but yeah, looking forward to the weekend, the match on, and yeah, looking forward to the Sunderland games coming up. It's nice to be enjoying Sunderland at the minute, isn't it? We're getting a few wins and that. It's very enjoyable. Makes a change.
It is. There is the feel-good factor about, and it's a bank holiday weekend, which means for you lot, you're all happy. For me, I'm working extra hours, but never mind. There you go. Just very quickly before we start, we have got a new sponsor again, OneFootball. So we're just going to quickly pass over to me just for 30 seconds, and I'll see you then. SAFC Fan TV would like to say a massive thank you to our sponsors, OneFootball, for supporting our channel. This is the only football app you will ever need. Every football fan should have it. You can follow your team, including all the news on Sunderland AFC. Keep up to date with all the players' latest stats. See how well they are doing throughout the season. To download this app, there is a link in the description below. Make sure you download that. And thanks again to OneFootball for your continued support of the channel. Thanks, Phil. Thank you very much for that. So there you go. Don't forget the OneFootball app is available in the link in the description. Also, we are live tonight, which means you can join us via the live chat. Already in there, we've got to give a shout out to Las Palmas Macam, who's always first in there waiting. And he's a member as well. Lauren Kenny, David B. Thane, friend of the show, David Walker is there as well. Robert Foster, Colin Major. It's Bobby Cowley. They're all there. If you want to contribute towards the show tonight, then get your comments down and we'll try our best to address them. So Jack touched on it there. There's a bit of a feel-good factor now in Sunderland. Tuesday night, the Carabao Cup, second round, went down to Blackpool. Blackpool 2, Sunderland 3. Jack, you was at the game. Overall performance, what did you think?
I was very impressed. I thought it was a very entertaining game. Disappointing start, it always is when you concede early, but I always think you want to see a reaction, and we got it straight away. We were back on level terms. We didn't let our heads drop. I thought at spells we were the better team. I know Blackpool were League One last year and they just come up, but they are a championship team at the minute, aren't they? So we matched them. I thought in spells we had more of the ball. It looked like we were the team that were looking like threatening, and I don't think it was undeserved when we went 2-1 up. It was disappointing that they put that little bit of pressure on and we conceded, and it looked like it was going to be going to extra time, but accidentally get a last minute winner. I think the fans were superb and the away end.
I think it's just it was just straight to penalties. I think Jack. I don't think
they were
extra time on it. So,
but even so, nobody likes penalties, do they? So I mean, very happy to get through, and I think we deserved. I think we just about shaded it. It was, but I think what impressed me, obviously, when you win, it's always good. But I thought the style of play that we're developing at the minute's really good. It's attractive to watch. You know, players are running in behind, but we're creating chances. Yeah, disappointing we conceded a couple, but yeah, very happy to get the win. The away end went up when the goal went in the last minute. It's really enjoyable.
Absolutely. Just very quickly on the chat then. Mick Griffiths says, working extra hours, is it need or greed? Back in the old days, it was greed. It is very much need now after the 18 months we've just had. Also, Marion Troll says, hello, lads. Looking forward to seeing you all. Hello, Marion. Yes, Mad Mistake, says Sharky. And also, the Casual Observer says, Nana Brenda loves the Mad Mistake. Terry, how much do you love Nana Brenda?
I love her loads. I hope you're happy, Nana Brenda. I hope you're having a good night.
Right, Terry, you watched the game on the radio. What did you think?
Well, I was just about to say I watched a very entertaining match on the radio, unlike you two who went down to the ground. But yeah, when I saw the lineup, I seen Winchester put back in the midfield with Dan Neil. I saw Huggins for his first start. Well, I heard Huggins for his first start. Serkin back into the team again. Alves' first start. O'Brien up front, which I'm not the biggest O'Brien fan, but I'm over the moon. Over the moon, he scored his hat-trick. I never thought in a million years I'd be saying that sentence, Aidan O'Brien scores the hat-trick. But I'm over the moon for the bloke. You want to see everybody in the Sunderland shirt succeed, regardless whether you're favourites or not. I thought Diamond had a decent match, and obviously Broadhead came in. So I was like sort of 50-50 whether expecting to see whether we were going to win or whether Blackpool would just like knock us for 6. But when Blackpool went in front after about 9 minutes, I was like, oh, here we go. But like Jack says, the response was fantastic to get back into the game after 2 or 3 minutes. We don't normally do that in the past or the last couple of seasons. So it was like a breath of fresh air. And Aidan O'Brien's goals for me were all good. I mean, they were all on target. One of them was kind of a deflection, but you've got to shoot.
Hang on, sorry, let me stop you there. All his goals were on target.
All on target, fantastic.
Great. Well, thank goodness for that.
Because sometimes you get one that's a little bit off strain, it gets deflected back on the goal. So I was kind of pleased that one was on target to be deflected into the back of the goal. But you never know. I'm never that easy to think about. But Alves, I thought Alves' first half was a bit 50-50, but he warmed up nicely. As Lee Johnson was saying, he has a lot of pace, and he relies on his pace to get him out of trouble, rather than using the football first to keep him from being in trouble in the first place. So, I mean, the last 30 seconds to get a goal like that. Blackpool saved a couple of substitutions for later on. We were a bit leggy. The likes of Huggins used all his energy up in the first sort of 60 minutes.
Yeah.
It was getting a bit leggy. So I think Blackpool, the manager was a bit wise. He thought with a lot of young'uns, they might sort of blow a lot of steam and run out of steam in the last half an hour, which they did. A lot of players got really tired, but to get that goal in the last 30 seconds, it was just like the icing on the cake, the cherry on the cake. Was absolutely fantastic. Over the moon.
It's the way to win it. I mean, when you score an injury time winner, there's no feeling like it. Just very quickly on the chat, Thane is saying O'Brien knocking on the door for a start. Surely he can't be left on the bench after scoring a hat trick. We will get onto that. He also says energetic midfield now. No more slow side. No more slow sideways, backwards football. Again, we are gonna come on onto that. David Walker says, surely it's a question of who partners Dan Neil now in midfield. Again, something we're gonna approach very soon. And we've got to give a shout out to Neil Ambler. Neil Ambler says, you chanted my son's name on the way down to Blackpool and interviewed him after the match. Yes, Charlie Ambler. Me and Cam were doing a live stream from the van as we was driving down the M6, and this courser overtook us, and little did we know they were actually watching the live stream. So send us a message. So that was Charlie Ambler. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support. And then after the game, when we did the fan cams, Charlie turned up. So we interviewed Charlie as well. If you haven't seen it, check out the fan cams on the channel. I was glad to see the new lads getting a run out. I think we said anyway on the Sunday, what we need to do is, give them some minutes and right across the back as well, and sticking Bailey Wright in there, across the back four. It was all good. Jack Diamond coming in. I think you're right what you say, Terry, about Huggins. I thought Huggins was good first half. I thought he looked well going up that right hand side and that. But I think into the second half he faded a bit.
Well, I think Lee Johnson said he's a very enthusiastic young lad in every single aspect of his world, and he just needs to be able to reel it in a touch so he can sort of use energy when he needs to use the energy.
Is he a little bit like you when you're vlogging, Terry? Is that what it is? He just
he's much more classier than me. Much more classier than me. Got loads more energy than me. I'm an old man.
Right. Jack, what about standout players for you? I know it was a great team performance, but was anybody sort of really stood out for you?
Well, the obvious one's Aidan O'Brien, isn't it? Scoring a hat-trick. I didn't realise his finishing was that good, but he took all three of his goals really well. But no, I touch on what Terry said. I thought Huggins had a decent game for his first real showing in a Sunderland shirt. I was really impressed with him. I thought Jack Diamond looked like his end product was a lot better. I think you're going to get enthusiasm and you're going to get lots of running from Jack Diamond. But what I thought he improved at. He improved on Tuesday night at Blackpool. I thought his end product, he picked the right pass every time. He seemed to be getting in the right areas and putting in some good balls. So I was impressed with him. But I'm just impressed with the squad depth we've got now. We've touched on those options that we've got now. We seem to be having options, in 2 or 3 different. We've got 2 or 3 for every position, and I think it's welcome, really. Do you know what I mean? Aidan McGeady hasn't exactly been in his best this season, and I think. Really, no one really mentioned him on Tuesday night. The fact he didn't really feature because we had that many options, in wide areas and particularly in the final third. And I do think it's important because it's a long season, isn't it? Let's be honest, we're very early stages. If you add in 46 league games and the Checker Trade Cup and the League Cup, depending on how far we get in it, and you're going to get injuries and suspensions and things like that. So you need a full squad, and I think our squad now is a lot stronger than it has been in recent years. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how it develops this season. I think we've got a cracking chance.
Yeah, I was saying it to people when we was doing the interviews outside the ground. How the team played excellent, and really, it's not the first team squad. So it's like, the first team, and you're right. We seem to have a bit of strength and depth now, which as we go longer into the season. Is what will probably, sort of put us above everybody else. Terry, before we do, Casual Observer says, back down to Wigan Pier in the Cup, Philly. Yes, I am from Wigan. I'll go and see my relations. Well, I'm just assuming Karen's going to allow me to go down for that game. I'll tell her I'm taking her to see the Pier. Terry, standout players for you?
Well, it's obviously O'Brien's the one we're getting a hat trick. Is always going to take the accolades, isn't he? Dan Neil in midfield was fantastic. Like I say, Patterson in goal, fantastic save. Kept it at 2-1 at one point. He's grown in stature with confidence. He's getting better with every game. So Diamond again. I think Lee Johnson was sort of putting it out there that Diamond might go on loan. Now I don't know if that was just some sort of way of trying to get Diamond to focus more, to sort of focus and become better to trying to win his place in the team. So I think Diamond did well. So even Winchester, I thought Winchester had a good game, but it's whether I got a feeling he's going to revert back to some of the other players for the league match. But the players themselves a great sort of chance of getting back into the first team for league matches. I think in the future, down the line, in 3 or 4 matches' time, we could see a lot more of these players feature in the league. But I think on Saturday we will go back because I think Wickham's going to be a really sort of physical side.
Did you see Dan Neil's pass?
Oh, it was brilliant! Brilliant.
Did it look good on the radio?
It looked fantastic. I watched all the goals on Sky Sports. Don't get me wrong. Every single time I've got Sky Sports ready there just to watch the goals as soon as they happen. And that's what Dan Neil does. That's exactly what he showed at the beginning of last season when he fed Will Grigg through. And that was a pre-season match, pre-season friendly. But that's where he's got his locker. He's got superb vision, superb foresight. And I think in the future, he's going to be an absolute star. Now, whether he's ready to play 3 games in a week, whether he's ready to play against a really big physical side like Wickham is another thing. He may need to take a back step for 1 match before he comes forward again. But I think Dan Neil is going to be an absolute star in the future.
You mentioned Winchester as well. Jack, you probably saw it. He did a hell of a tackle in the first half. Just unbelievable. And he's coming into his own now. The Forest Green fans called him Winnie Esther, didn't they? And when he came here, he was thinking, you know what? But he's starting to look like a good player. He really is. Just very quickly on the chat, Kieran Gale says play Stewart and O'Brien together. That would mean sort of like changing the system, or is he on about sort of sticking them both up front? But O'Brien could play off. I
would say play him off, play Stewart as the main strike, and then you could play O'Brien as like an attacking midfielder, couldn't you? One off the other, winning the knockdowns and things.
Yeah.
Could O'Brien not play like either in McGeady or Gooch's role? And then,
I don't know. Is he a wide man? I mean, he seems to be quite versatile. O'Brien, he's played up front once or twice, hasn't he? As well, like as the lone striker as well.
Just play him in the middle, up front in the middle, just behind Stewart is what you could do in that three, couldn't you?
Do you think Johnson's going to change tactics and change his 4-2-3-1? I
wouldn't have thought so. Why would you? I mean, to be fair, it's looking it's looking good. We're playing well with that system. Right. It might sound a bit of a daft question, but I'm going to ask you how far do you want to go in the cup? Obviously, you want to go to Wembley and you want to win it. But bearing in mind that, we have to get out of this league this time. As it give you a bit of a sort of excitement now, the way we're playing. And I know it's only into round 3, but you know what? We're looking good. And if the draw's kind to us, we could actually, find ourselves on another trip to the capital. Or am I just in dreamland, Jack?
I mean, we're going to Wigan away, and there's been a bit of needle between us and Wigan, hasn't there, recently? So I think we're definitely going there to win. I mean, it's going to be tough for us. You look at the big lads that were coming in the last round, weren't you? You've got all the teams in European competition coming in, your Man United, your Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. So, I mean, in terms of us going all the way to the final, I'm not really sure. But I think maybe if we're going to give one of the cup competitions a rest, maybe the Checker Trade, maybe just go full, play as young as the squad as you can in the Checker Trade this season. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, I know we won it last year and everyone was happy. I mean, disappointed that we didn't see us win at Wembley. But I think for the minute, just try and keep the momentum going as well, Phil. I mean, I know you want to try and, prioritise the league, and I fully agree. But the momentum we've got, I would just say just try and keep winning, because that momentum breeds confidence. And we're looking like at the minute we can take anybody on and give them a real good game.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, it's there's no harm in putting the fringe players in, and as well as the fringe players are playing, we can still give, like you said, give anybody a good game, and it's getting into that habit of winning. Keep that going, Terry.
Is there some kind of rule saying you've got to play so many first teamers in the Checker Trade Trophy or not?
I don't think so.
I'm sure I heard it somewhere last season where you can't completely change the whole side.
But we still have quite a lot of youngsters that are still on the fringes of the first team now, aren't we? So we could kind of, you know what I mean? I mean, like, I don't mean fully go youngsters, but I mean, like, play a mainly youthful side. You know what I mean? I think if we're going to do that, that would be the tournament to try and do it in.
My take on it, like I said last week, is that for me, the cup matches, especially like this cup and the Papa John's Trophy Cup, I would play the Papa John's Trophy. I'd play all youngsters completely, all the youngsters, and I would never change it, no matter how far we get. Because that isn't the main thing. At the end of the day, we've got to get promoted. And it's found us out, I think, in the past, getting to a final in the first season and also last season. So for me, I'd keep all the first squad well away from the Papa John's Trophy and let the kids go all the way. And if they make it all the way, give them the incentive to get to the final and play at Wembley. Never let the first teamers, and tell Lee Johnson's just here from the start, you're not going to get into this cup. It's going to be the kids. It's their chance to play. Let them go all the way and do what they can. In this Checker Trade Trophy, this Carabao Cup, we're not going to win it, simple as. We're never going to win it. It's a Man City or Man U or Liverpool. So I would keep playing about 6 or 7 youngsters in the side again and let them, because they're getting through to this round, let again, like so the O'Briens, if he doesn't get into the first team, the likes of your Dan Niles, your Alves, your Wrights, your Huggins, your Serkins, let them reap the rewards for being successful in this round by playing them again in the next round.
Right, fair dues. Just very quickly on the chat there, it's Bobby Cowley says, I think it's 5 first team players in the Papa John's Trophy. Is how that works. We've got to give a shout out to Gilesy on the chat. Terry, you sent some traffic over to Gilesy's stream, didn't you, at half time? Anything you?
Well, he's a good YouTuber, top lad, so he deserves it.
Absolutely superb YouTuber. Check out Giles' channel. Go over there if you haven't subscribed. Then check out Gilesy. Top guy is. Right, okay. So we've drawn Wigan away. Wigan's always a good away day, and you always get that big section behind the goal. I'd like to think we take a few more. I mean, there was a good turnout for Blackpool and that, but it's always a good away day. Are you happy with Wigan, or would you rather have someone else? Terry?
I was hoping for Liverpool away or Manchester United away. A really big team and just have a really good day out, a good sort of, just to treat the fans to a nice big occasion again. Maybe it's the next round, because we'll beat Wigan anyway, so it'll be the next round.
Right, fair enough. Jack, was there anybody you was hoping for? Are you happy with Wigan?
I'm satisfied. I think it was a win-win for me, because I think we've got a game now that we would genuinely fancy our chances to win. But if we've got one of the big teams, it would be nice, because it's been a few years since we've had a big game, hasn't it? Like Terry says, a trip to Anfield or Old Trafford or the Etihad or somewhere like that. So I mean, it was a win-win. I mean, I saw a few people saying they wanted Newcastle. If they got through, I mean, I think no. We've got a good unbeaten record against them. I don't want to play them at the minute, but they got knocked out anyway, didn't they? So,
well, they're not having the best of starts, though, are they? I suppose, really. Just very quickly about on the chat. Casual Observer says, "Big up Jalsey, live from Marley Potts." Jeff Allcroft Spannerman says, "Jalsey can't sing, Terry," and Jalsey says, "Terry has the voice of an angel." Chelsea, you need to get that wax out your ear, mate. Just very quickly, got 134 people on the live stream. We've got 46 likes. We'd like to try and hit 100 likes on a Thursday night. So you can just hit the thumbs up. It'll take you a second to do so. If you're watching on a mobile device and you have the live chat on, just close the live chat. You'll see the thumbs up. Just smash that and let's get those likes up. And equally, if you're watching and you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe. Take you a second to do so, and it's free to subscribe. And if you already are a subscriber and you haven't yet pressed the notification bell, hit that bell, as our last normally says, and that'll keep you informed of any new material we put onto the channel. Right, I'm not going to pass this around. I just quickly want to sort of mention it, because we spoke about the cashless thing, and I don't know if it was Sunday or Thursday, but we got a bit of a backlash on social media for it, saying that we shouldn't be knocking the club, and because we had to go at the ticket office, not where you can't buy a ticket on a Saturday and all this and what have you. I just want to clarify that there's nothing wrong with going cashless, right? And at the end of the day, that is how it'll be. We will be a cashless club. That's how, all businesses will end up like that. The problem is there has to be a transition period. You cannot go from where you can pay cash and then all of a sudden you just cannot pay cash. There's some people just don't have the ability to do it cashless. A lot of the like the older supporters and stuff like that just can't do it. So what you need to do is, in this transition period, yes, you go cashless. However, there's got to be at least one option where you can pay cash and make it a little bit more expensive, an extra £1 or whatever, to persuade people not to want to pay cash and do it cashless. And then after that transition period, go cashless. So that's all we're saying. We're just we're just pointing these things out. These are highlighted to us, and we wanted to put it over on the channel to you. And we're not knocking the club, but we're trying to iron out where there seems to be little flaws and seeing if we can come up with a solution and see if the club would do anything about it. Terry?
So these people who are knocking what we're saying, have they got no sort of, do they not want to help the elderly? Have they lost interest in the elderly as well? Because at the end of the day, it's opinions. I'll have my opinion and I'll state my opinion. And I'm here to help everybody if I can. And if people kind of like, say my dad who's 75 goes to the match and he can't get a ticket because he's only got cash, then I will defend my dad. Like I say, it's going to be a transition period. You can't just say one day there's cash, next day there's not. Because like I say, you put it out on social media, how does people who haven't got social media actually know? There should be a way of getting to that ground and then say, right, today you can pay cash, but next time you come, there's going to be a change. You'll not be able to do it like this. You've got to have some sort of way of like stretching the boundaries a little bit for people who don't have social media. And I'll defend the elderly, simple as.
But the thing is, see, there's a comment here from Robert Foster. And this is another thing, he's saying transition period, okay, but doesn't everyone have a current account and a debit card? No, not everyone does, so it's all right. I know it's difficult to get your head around, especially if you're a bit younger and that, and you've always been online and used technology. It's second nature. But the likes of my generation, there's a lot of my pals, just don't use the internet. It's as simple as that, and the trust of I'll never online bank, I don't trust it, and things like this. And, so it's more difficult from a younger generation's point of view trying to see it. But that's all we're going to say. We're getting knee-jerk reactions.
But also going to the ground on the day, and you can't purchase a ticket on the day. I mean, again, if someone doesn't have social media, how do they know when they go on that particular day they can't get a ticket? They might just say, I'm going to go to the day, I'm going to turn up on the day, get the bus down, have a wander around, go to the ground, go to the match. They turn up, you can't buy a ticket, sir. I've just travelled 20, 30 miles. No, you can't buy a ticket. Go away. It's ridiculous. Again, there should be one. When it comes to the ticket office, well, on this occasion, we'll let you purchase a ticket, but next time, this is what's happening.
Right. But even that, though, Terry, purchasing a ticket, you can't even purchase a ticket cashless on a Saturday from the ticket office, which is absolutely unbelievable.
They could have at least like one. Do they not do like cash turnstiles at the stadium like anymore? Not even like one single cash turnstile. You would think. I can see. I don't think it's been a very good start in terms of the fan experience from the club. I get that they're trying to do the best, but when you think about the queues in the home game and the delay in it, and then there was problems with the whole City game in pre-season, and then this cashless issue, it's the PR between the club and the fans is a little bit off at the minute, isn't it? And fans are a little bit frustrated. Some fans are anyway. It hasn't been very, very nice between like the PR side of things, really, has it?
Well, you could easily just get it out on the Sunderland Echo, put something in the Sunderland Echo, put it in every, say, like Friday night or one day a week so people can read it who don't like have the internet. Yeah,
I mean, it's like I said, we just all we're trying to do is trying to address little problems. What will make the whole thing better. Stephen Hensel, friend of the show, says he's had a problem getting his tickets for Saturday online. It didn't work, so he ended up having to ring the ticket office and do it over the phone. All these things. You need to have a plan B, to tell that. But again, I don't want to dwell on it because it's not that we're having a go at the club. We're just trying to see if we can come up with solutions. What would make it better, Terry?
Exactly. We're not knocking the club. We want the club to succeed. We're just trying to give them a way of helping the fans through the transition period.
David B on the chat said, "My old man is not a dustman. He's never had a cash card. That's it. I mean, we told the tale of an old guy wanted to buy a ticket, only had cash, but my mate's pal was in there and said, give us the money, and he bought it on his card. And he would have had to just walk away with no ticket otherwise. But anyway, let's move on from that. Right then, Aidan O'Brien scores a hat-trick at Blackpool. Just out of the blue, he was sort of in the wilderness a bit, really. Everybody said about new players coming in. First thing people say is, we need a striker. Do we still need a striker, Jack?
I'd like one. I think we're at the minute. I know we've got the Everton lad Broadhead who's come in. He looks like he could play across the front three, to be fair. But I think we are heavily reliant, as we were last season, on Charlie White for goals. I think we're heavily reliant on Ross Stewart, so I would like another option in, just somebody that can maybe get us 5-10, even as a substitute option from the bench. I think when you're going into a season with one striker and you're pinning all your hopes on him, you know what I mean? We got away with it last year with Charlie White, who stayed injury-free, but I think particularly the way that Ross Stewart plays as well, he's very holding the ball up. He's going to get knees in the back, the same as Niall Quinn did. He's going to get, he's going to be heading balls, and he plays quite a physical game. And I do think he is going to get knocks from time to time. And the worry is if we don't get another striking option in and he does go down, I'm struggling now to look and see where the real goals are coming from this time. I know you could say Aidan O'Brien got a hat-trick the other night, but that's a one-off really, isn't it? So I would like another striker, and I think we could do one.
Right. Well, it's Bobby Cowley on the chat says no. We got Stuart, O'Brien, Broadhead, and Grigg. Fair point.
I'm surprised if Grigg will be there by the end of the window, to be fair. Is he not away?
Well, somebody put in the chat a little bit earlier that's Lee Johnson apparently said he could be looking to get a new striker in, and that doesn't mean that Grigg won't be here. If that happens,
nobody want him, is that what it is?
Well, Terry O'Brien got a hat trick there. I mean, he could. I mean, there was our friend Charlie Wake didn't do that for 3 seasons, and then all of a sudden start banging him in. You know, could it be the same's going to happen with O'Brien? Do we need a striker? Is O'Brien going to deliver?
The thing is, last season we found a way of supplying Charlie Wake with down the line crosses into the box. That does sort of help Charlie Wake's type of football. But we had nothing through the middle. We had no effective midfield. All the midfield would do would pass it left, pass it right, pass it back, give it to the wide men. But now we have someone like Dan Neil who can thread the ball through an eye of a needle. That kind of sort of football might help Aidan O'Brien massively. It might make Aidan O'Brien's come on by at least 30%. You know, when have we ever had a talented midfielder like that? And we also have Pritchard Embleton now, who will come and drive through the middle. That kind of football, like I said, might suit Aidan O'Brien completely differently to the game, the nil effective midfield we had last season, where it was just down the line, crossing the ball across. So we technically could have a new striker in Aidan O'Brien just by playing a different type of football.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, there's people still saying that we should get someone in, but
there's no harm in getting somebody in.
I mean,
we're not going to spend massive amount of money, are we? I'd rather get someone in who's like in their early 20s again, like they've been doing, who has great potential.
I think that's it, though, isn't it? I think for the right player at the right price. When I say I think we could do with somebody in, I don't think it's desperate. It's not. I certainly wouldn't want to end in a situation whereby you last minute at the window and you throw money to get Will Grigg over the line, like you saw in Sunderland Till I Die. But I do think if the right option becomes available, get somebody in on loan. I know we've got Broadhead in on loan, but you might see one or two of the bigger clubs, you know, that aren't they're looking at players and thinking, well, you aren't going to feature. You might be able to get, you know, someone in on a loan deal, or you know, I don't know. I just worry if the game that Ross Stewart plays, you know, big physical striker, you know, getting in behind and running. I just worry he gets a knock even for a few weeks, and I think we're going to miss that focal point up front, and we're going to miss his goals so much. I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm always a bit concerned.
Right, Jack. You'll just have to excuse us for a second, Jack. I'm just going to put a banner over your face. I do apologise. Quickly want to mention, of course, SAFC Fan TV have teamed up with our sponsors, One Football, who offer a fantastic football app. Every football fan should have the app. The link is in the description below. Please download that. It is absolutely free to do that to you. It gives you all the latest news coming out of Sunderland. You can follow the team, all the players' stats and everything like that are all there for you as well. Like we say, it's a superb football app. Check it out, the One Football app. And thanks very much for supporting the channel from everybody at SAFC Fan TV. Yes, Terry.
That comment from Colin Major's class, put Grigg on the cash turnstile only, just give him something to do. Now that might force people to go cashless, mightn't it?
Fair point, Med. Right. So there's still people saying that that we should get a striker, and I'm not sure. I mean, I said, you know, if we don't bring anyone else in now, between now and the end of the season, to be honest, it wouldn't bother me. The way we've been playing, I mean, Wimbledon on Saturday was probably our worst performance so far, and we went and won that.
I do feel we need a bit of strength and depth up front, just in case. Case another strike, another young lad wouldn't go amiss.
Right, okay, but Lee Johnson said in his interview I watched earlier, he's not overly worried. If they're after the right person and it ends up being signed in January, he would rather do that than bring in the wrong person. How happy are you with that, Jack?
Well, yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I'm not saying, like you say, I don't think we should go out and panic buy and just sign somebody for the sake of signing another body. I think it has to be the right player. But I just worry, like I say, I think I've been really impressed with the way that Ross Stewart's played. I mean, he probably isn't going to get the same level of goals that Charlie White got last season, but I think his overall play is a lot better. I think he's better at the flick-ons. He's better at, winning headers. He's better at angling his body and using that and laying balls off. He's more mobile at running in behind. And I just worry that he's played so well, I think, in the past few games, and particularly the style of play. I just worry he gets a knock, and I think it could affect our whole play. Do you know what I mean? I think we lose that. And I get Terry's point. We've got midfield runners now, but I still think, particularly in this league, you need that focal point up front. And I think Ross Stewart goes. I'm looking at the Everton lad, and I'm thinking, you're a different player to Ross Stewart. Do you know what I mean? So it wouldn't be the end of the world if we didn't get one in, but I'd quite like, maybe I'm being a bit greedy, but I'd like one in if possible.
Yeah, but it is that thing of changing the way we do things now, though, isn't it? I mean, you mentioned just a few minutes ago about, on the Sun Until I Die documentary, how the Will Grigg thing happened, and it was just get at all cost. Whereas now, they've said we won't get people in if they're not the right people, and that could be bearing fruit now. Terry?
Doesn't mean they're not already going to bring somebody in, because they might have someone in the pipeline been working on for weeks, and it might just take next few days before somebody comes in. Like I say, I feel completely sort of trust the system, what they're doing now, with Speakman and Johnson, the way they're going about things. I think if they're going to bring somebody in, they've had someone in the pipeline for a while. They might just suddenly come in next couple of days. Jack?
Yeah, just touching on the recruitment, I think I've a lot more confidence in this style of play. I think that we've seen this summer not just the style of play that the players were signed. I think that there seem to be a lot of younger players that we've brought in recently, and I think that's one thing that we've been missing in the last few years with the signings we've been making. You watch some Sunderland teams and there wasn't any mobility. We didn't have any runners. We didn't have any energy in the team. And now, the other night I was thinking, this Sunderland team's full of energy. There's plenty of lads with, lots of running in them, stretching in behind. The mobility of the team's a lot better. And I think that's one positive aspect. We're targeting the right players now. We seem to be getting the right age range of players rather than kind of players that are maybe, later on in the career, players that are hungry and looking to make a point, whether it's at Sunderland or a different club if they're coming on loan.
Yeah. Terry, I think the point, like you were making, that, it could be taking longer to get them in. I think what the club are trying to say, though, is if then that deal fell through, they wouldn't necessarily go, oh, well, we could take him. They know what they want, and that seems pretty good. Just very quickly, I want to give a shout out to David Allen, who was on the chat earlier. He was actually driving the Corsa, which passes on the M6. So hello to you. We'll see you back on a motorway down to Wigan, if my wife will allow me. On the cashless thing, John Treborian says cashless is a dangerous thing. Society again pushed into. If it's a Saturday night and you have no bread and milk and you have no cash in your pocket and your card fails, you're hungry until Monday. Well, plus the tax man can watch every single transaction you make as well. So gone are those. I'll just pay you cash and all that. Thane says Vito Manoni in on deadline day. He can feel it. We've had a little say on this. Jack, what are your feelings on the Vito Manoni thing?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't, like you say, you talked about pushing deals. I wouldn't push it through and force it really. But if he's there and he's available, then But to be honest, I think it's sometimes romanticising with Sunderland fans, isn't it? All the way. We like Vito for Old Trafford and the penalty saves in that shootout. He seemed to be a likeable guy. I think sometimes Sunderland fans are a bit nostalgic and romantic. I think I've been really impressed with Patterson. I know he came in. I think the only thing he did wrong really at Wimbledon last week was he came for that corner, didn't he? And he didn't quite get it, and it looked like a bit of a hairy moment. But other than that. So yeah, if Vito's available and go for that, I think it's sometimes romanticising with some Sunderland fans. I think we hark back to a few years ago with Dreamy Eye, shall we say.
Right. Fair enough. Just very quickly, we've got 159 people on the stream. Thanks for tuning in. 71 likes. We're trying to hit 100 if we can. Just smash the like button, the quick thumbs up. Take you a second to do that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It is free. Thank you. Barry Shepherd says, what's happened to the Sheffield United lad? Wasn't the rumour about they were trying to offload Greg, and if Greg went, then he was going to come in. Does any of you know anything about that anymore? What's he called? Is it Jefferson or something?
Jefferson. I heard there was a few in from him. To be honest, I thought there was quite a few teams. I heard there was a few in from him, and we were kind of well down the pecking order. And we were interested, but I heard he was a wanted man, so I don't know how true that is. But.
Right. Mark on the chat says the only decent striker we got is Ross Stewart. We need a new striker. Then saying Jefferson going to Everton now, potentially. Right then, let's go on to Patterson, the goalkeeper then. Kept a clean sheet on Saturday. I'm assuming, because Burge, his injury, well, didn't he just have a diggy tummy or something like that on Saturday? No? Was he actually, did he get injured in the one?
Apparently he twinged his hamstring, I think. So right. I wouldn't play a Burge on Saturday now. Not after Patterson's had 2 good games. You kind of drop the lad now. For me, got to feed the lad confidence. And if Vito Manoni did come in at the right price and wanted to play for Sunderland that badly, Patterson, could really learn from Vito Manoni. So that, for me, wouldn't be a bad thing.
Right. But it's Bobby Cowley says, don't need a goalkeeper. Burge is good enough. You're on about Vito Manoni. I don't know if you noticed it, Jack, down at Blackpool. When Patterson was in the first half, was in the goal where we were behind, and people are singing Vito Manoni, and I'm thinking, poor lad, he's between the sticks, like, it's
not what you want to hear, is it?
Not really. I assumed that Burge was fit enough to play, but with it being the club, he had Patterson in. But again, you mentioned it earlier, Terry, a cracking save second half when we were 2-1 up. All the Blackpool fans thought it was in. They were up, and he got down. He got down to his right hand side there, and a cracking save. Can't knock the lad. He's had a good pre-season. He's playing all right now. So does he deserve a start then on Saturday if Burge is fit, Jack?
Yeah, I'd stick with it. You touched on it earlier, Philly, with regard to Lee Johnson changing things, and sometimes sticking with him is the right option. And he's only had that one issue really with he couldn't do anything with the goals the other night, and he had that one issue where he came for a corner and didn't get it. But other than that, and I think really if we are to prioritise youngsters coming through, I think why not give him a chance? You know what I mean? I think what you're going to get from Lee Burge. He's very inconsistent for me. It goes hot and cold. He can have one good game, but I said to someone the other day at the match, he's one of those goalkeepers, Lee Burge, that my heart's in my mouth with him all the time. Some goalkeepers you're confident with, and with him, I'm never confident with him. So I know you could say that's the case for Patterson, but I really think it's interesting to see the younger ones develop and come through. And I think if that's what we're targeting as Sunderland as a club, to be, a platform for young players to go on and develop with us, then I don't see why you wouldn't keep playing Anthony Patterson in goal. Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. That's sort of. I don't mind Burge, and for me, I think he does all right. I don't think he deserves the stick he gets, but I wouldn't have a problem if they left Patterson in goal. On Saturday. One sec, Terry. DJ Sizzler Watson says, nice see, quality over quantity, and nice job on Tuesday night, Terry. So there you go, Terry. And you wanted in?
I was just saying, I don't know what size Patterson is, but he looks like a big unit, and he's very agile, very good at getting down to the low shots. And I just think, like Jack says, he's a young lad. He's going to give great game with experience. You've got to believe in the youngsters like this. He's getting this opportunity. It's not Patterson's fault Burge got injured. He's come in, he's stepped in, he's done a good job. For me, you've got to reward the lad by giving him a start on Saturday. Let Burge recuperate properly. Get him on the bench. Let him try and win his place back. But for me, you kind of drop the lad. No way.
But I also think as well, Phil, I think goalkeeper is one of those positions that you can't be chopping and changing. So whichever one we go with, either Patterson or Burge, you need to go with them and stick with them. And it's hard lines for the other one that's on the bench. But we had that season where we went down in the Championship. Do you remember we had Reuter, Camp, and the other goalkeeper who I can't forget, Jason Steele, and we seem to be alternating them quite regularly, and I don't think it's good. So whichever one you go with, Patterson or Burge, I think you need to stick with them. In my opinion, I think I'd go with Patterson. I think Lee Burge, he's not the future for Sunderland.
But are you sort of meaning the league? Because obviously you come to the cup, and that's when you're going to give the French players a run out. So you're on about league games. You should stick with the same one. Is that what you're saying?
I'd stick with him. Yeah, I'd stick with Patterson and see how he goes. I mean, give him a good run in the side, and then don't get us wrong. I'm not stupid to say that if he's dropping clangers left, right, and centre, you wouldn't want to maybe put Burge back in. But I really think you need to give him a real spell in the team. I think don't be chopping and changing regularly. If you're going to go with Patterson, stick with him. And I don't see why you wouldn't. To me, I think he's up there in terms of ability. He's not far off Burge already, and he's what, 21? Is he 22? I think he's not. I don't think there's much between them, to be honest.
Right, just very quickly. Somebody says Patterson's 6'2". Also, Marley Gibson on the chat says can't change a winning team. We say it time and time again. But there was a lot of first team players weren't actually in on Tuesday night. But I mean, you wouldn't argue against starting that team anyway on Saturday the way they played on Tuesday. Just before I go to you, Terry, Kieran Gill says we should go for Aston Villa striker Cameron Archer, 19-year-old, scored a hat-trick on Tuesday. Don't know much about him, but scoring hat-tricks is always good. Terry?
I think towards the back end of the match, there was one or two players who looked to be limping around the pitch, like Winchester and Aidan O'Brien. So for me, you don't want to risk these players being injured long term, because I think Winchester's a massive, massive player for us this season. And I definitely don't want to risk him being injured if he was limping around towards the end of the season. And again, like I say, the youngster players, if you're going to play them every single game, 3 games a week, the likes of Dan Neil, you don't want to risk them getting injured as well. For me, the squad's there for a reason. I do think he's going to change the squad, revert it back on Saturday, but there's players there now are pushing for a place. And if anybody underperforms in the first half, drag them off and put somebody off the bench on.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly, I want to give a shout out to DJ Earth, who says hopefully our defence will be that good we won't need the keeper. And DJ Earth, a new member to the team. You'll see DJ Earth's preview of the Wickham game, which will be on our channel tomorrow. So thanks to DJ Earth for that. You touched on it, I think, before we went on air, Jack, about the difference of the team now. I mean, I was saying to Karen how we just... this team now is just, it's attacking. They just seem a lot more comfortable. The midfield actually, do something instead of sideways, and backwards. What do you think is the major factor to the change from this season, from last season to this, Jack?
I think if you're going back to Parkinson's, I think, we started last season on Phil Parkinson. He seemed to just be a very negative man and a very negative style of play. I always thought he was too worried about what the opposition were going to do to Sunderland and not concerned enough about what we could offer. So I think Lee Johnson's come in, and I know he got a little bit of stick early on, didn't he, about all of his silly, position of maximum opportunity things and things like that. Do you remember all those? But I think what it shows is it does show he has an appetite and enthusiasm for the game. And a few people took the mick a little bit, but I think it shows he's trying to be a progressive football manager. And I think he's one of the main things. But I also think the recruitment that we've done in the past 6 months, we seem to be targeting young athletic players. We've got a few of them in now, and there's a lot more mobility with the players that were brought in. Now, obviously, style of play helps. You've got an attacking-minded manager more, but I think it's a combination of those things. And I think going on to the background as well, I think we've got a proper recruitment process in place now, and I'm looking forward to the future with these. I mean, I know 1 or 2 wanted Lee Johnson to go when we lost in the playoffs, but I think we're really building, and we do need to go up as soon as possible. But I'm content now with what we were in the future, what we're looking at like in the future. I wasn't a year or so ago. I was thinking this club's going nowhere, but I think we can start and see it is going somewhere. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but I think that we're all a bit more positive at the minute, aren't we?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's a bit of a feel-good factor at the moment in Sunderland, the way they're playing and getting the results. There's a few people on the chat not liking Burge. Stephen Ball says, Burge, I've got no nails left. Casual Observer says, Lee Bergerac. It's Bobby Cowley. I still do think Lee Johnson will play Burge. He's saying, and Jimmy, who's known for not being a Burge fan, says, good job, Dino's not on the channel tonight. He's number one, getting a bit stick. I say, leave Burge where he is, on the bench. There you go. Terry, what's the difference with this team this season? What do you think? Why all of a sudden are we playing better?
Well, Lee Johnson did inherit a lot of slow players, hasn't he? And I don't want to slag off Scowen too much because he's playing on Saturday and just one of those things, isn't it? But he's not very fast. Max Power wasn't very fast. Like I said, Will Grigg, who was playing sometimes, he's not very fast. Charlie White's slower than me. So I know he did score the 30 goals, but in the previous 2 seasons before that, a lot of slow players, a lot of players who don't have any sort of direction for going through the middle. Ledbetter, great play in his day, fantastic holding midfielder, not much pace there, you know. So we've changed it completely now. We've got players with pace. We've got players who want to play through the middle. We've got Pritchard in now, who looks very direct, and Embleton, very direct. Luke 9, again, he's direct and puts the boot in. Neil, great through the middle. So he's changed the dimension of the team completely. Serkin as the left back. This Huggins could be a fantastic as right back in a few games' time. I don't think it's his time at this moment yet. But I think as he gets experience and gets fitter, I think Huggins will be the right back eventually. But, you know what, apart from, I don't know what Evans is like with pace, but Evans, Saturday, it all depends on which players are fit for me, because I don't know which ones got knocks during the week and I don't know which players are due back. So, but like I say, the dimensions changed through the middle completely.
Right, fair enough. I mean, you're right. He did inherit, well, it wasn't his team, was it? And everybody was saying, even when people were sort of calling for his head and that, you see, you've got to at least let him bring his own players in. And I mean, so far so good. I mean, I just think, I mean, we'll go on to the Wickham game on Saturday. Just before we do, 145 people on the stream, 87 likes. If we get another 13 people to just hit the thumbs up, just smash that. Let's get to 100 on this Thursday night. Sunderland versus Wickham Wanderers. Tough test, right? But I know I'm murder me for getting carried away, and I'm always, glass half full, positive and stuff like that. But if we beat Wickham on Saturday and the way we're playing superbly, how confident are you then that this is our season and up with the automatics? Jack, you're going to say it's too early, I know.
I know. I love your optimism, Phil, and I'm the same. I want to be like that, but it is still kind of August, and you know what I mean. I want to get behind, and I do think I'm a lot happier. I'm a lot more positive than I was kind of 6 months, 9 months ago. You know what I mean. So I'll give you that, and I do think we are getting there. I think it's going to be very tight. I think at the end of the season, I think it's going to be very, very tight. There's no team that you're looking at that thinking where they're guaranteed nailed on for automatics. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 that are going to be in the mix, and I think we'll definitely be up there. I think on Saturday, you know what you're going to get from Wickham. You know, every time we play them, it's a horrible game. It's horrible, physical, cynical, dirty. They kick the knee. They stop the game as much as they can. You know and I think what I do think nowadays, we've got a team now that can play football and hopefully beat them. Don't get drawn into this physical battle that they like to play. They like to try and bully us, and I think if we play our football with an intensity like we have been playing recently, full crowd, well, not a full crowd, but the crowd behind us, I think there's, we should be winning the game.
Yeah, well, I think it's a tough test, but it'll be a good gauge for us, no matter how early in the season it is. Just very quickly, I want to give a shout out to Marianne and Carl Taylor, fans of the show over in Boston, Massachusetts. Always tune in, and good to see that your members badge has gone to a 1. All right, if you are a member, You start your first month with an N for the newbies, and then there's a show in 1 month as members. So thanks very much. You can join if you want to. Details are on the bottom of the screen if you want to do that. Terry, Saturday, Wickham Wanderers. I see you brought the old whiteboard in to go through your team. Let's have a look at it.
This is not my team. This is the team I think Johnson will start with. I think he'll revert back to Embleton, O'Nien and Pritchard for the simple fact I think Dan Neil in the centre against a really physical Wickham side. I don't think he'll play Dan Neil just yet there. I might be wrong. If it was me, I might do something different. I think he'll bring Gooch back, he'll bring McGeady back and Stewart back. If Winchester's fit, I think he'll put Winchester back there until Huggins gets a bit more time and a more experience. Now, Serkin, will he start Serkin or will he put Dan Neil back at the left-back position? I think it's going to be one of those matches where we could see a change in the whole dimension of some of the old brigade, because if this team, it reverts back to the team he likes to play, doesn't work on Saturday, then he'll start bringing in some changes.
Can I just say, Terry, why would you think he wouldn't play Serkin at left back when that's his position?
He did say in an interview last week that Serkin still needs time and he needs games, but he can't always play every single game. Now, it depends how fit he is. Whether that week off has done him the world of good, then yes, start the lad. For me, I would start him if he's a proper left back, leave him in there. But it depends how he's come out of the game on Tuesday. If he hasn't come out of the game as good as he needs to be, then he will revert back, because Neil is a lot fitter than the rest of the squad for me. So he's always going to be the backup for Serkin if he's not right.
Can I just say, are you saying don't start Huggins because of his fitness? Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking against a physical side like Wickham, Huggins might need more time. I think Wickham's going to be one of the most physical sides we play this season. We've got to be strong. Luke O'Nien might not even make the side in some games coming up, but for me, Luke O'Nien's more physical than some of the midfielders. Again, Evans, if he's fit, would he risk Evans in the midfield against a physical side, getting another knock? So I just got a feeling this is the team Lee Johnson will start on Saturday. It may not be every player's cup of tea, but we do have a strong bench. O'Brien, Huggins, Neil, Evans, plenty more Diamond, who could come on if the likes of Gooch is having a bad game. Gooch, for me, first game of the season, great. But since then, he's been off colour. Now, if he's not performing in the first 45 minutes, you drag him off, put somebody else on. You've got to be like that. You've got to be proactive, not reactive.
But you see, it's a nice situation to be in, to be honest. I mean, I thought when Huggins signed, I thought it was basically signed because he was going to get to more or less play each game. But I mean, there's Winchester, it was great in the middle on Tuesday. I thought Bailey Wright had a good game. I don't know if I was watching a different game or not, but I thought Bailey Wright played a good game. But then, you got Flanagan in there, and Flanagan's had some stick off us on this channel over the time he's been here. But even Flanagan, I think, had not played that badly the last couple of games when he's played, Terry.
There's one thing I don't want to happen. I don't want to risk injured players who are not 100%. There's no need to play them. If they're not 100%, put them on the bench, and if they can play maybe 30, 20 minutes. But for me, you've got to have a fully fit first 11 players here, because they could get injured against Wickham with the physical, and I don't want to get too many players getting too many knocks. Say, for instance, if McGeady has a bit of a problem with his foot, then don't play him. If Winchester's carrying a knock, again, right back could be a better position than central midfield. There's a lot of ifs and buts. I'm not privy to knowing which players are fit and which players are not fit off Tuesday. But if they're all fit, this is the team I think he will start with.
Well, I think, Terry, you need to get down to the academy and do a bit of doorstepping, and you need to get in there. You're a cutting-edge journalist, and now, you want to say, do you know who I am? I've got my channel.
I've got to earn a living, Phil. I've got to work 9. I've got to work 45 hours a week. Got to earn a living, pay the bills.
Right.
Unfortunately, I would love to spend all day playing with YouTube. I would love, but I cannot. I cannot.
In time, Terry, it'll come. I'm sure it will. Last Farmer Smackham on the chat says, why play McGeady when he's not lifted his a leg this season? Terry?
I think Lee Johnson just likes the bloke. I think he will keep with him. I think he's very influential at the moment. I think in time, it will phase him out if he's not playing well. And I think if he's not playing well on Saturday, you just take him off. But Lee Johnson will know how fit he is, how he's doing in training. If it was me, I probably wouldn't start McGeady on Saturday. I'm more or less 80% certain I would put somebody else in that position.
Jack, was you trying to get in there?
Yeah, I'm a big Aidan McGeady fan. I think when he's firing, he's superb, but he hasn't looked at the races so far, and I'm worried he's carrying a knock, like you say, particularly against Wickham. You know, Wickham are going to... Every team that we speak to now, with the team, say, who's the main threat? Who do you fear from Sunderland? They nearly all say Aidan McGeady, and I think we'll target him. I worry he plays. He's only 70-80% he plays, and someone goes in and he makes him worse, and he's out for a while. Do you know what I mean? And I say that as a big Aidan McGeady fan. I think we're a much better team when he's in it and he's firing. But I think, particularly against this opposition, Wickham, I think they're really physical. And I think if they're going on McGeady and he gets out for 2 months, I think you look at it and you say, why did he play? So I'll be maybe tempted to drop him out.
Right, okay, we're right out of time now. Anyway, there's a lot of people on the chat saying Dan Neil has to play, absolutely fantastic, and all that. I mean, what you say about McGeady there, you know, Gooch has not been firing regularly, has he? You know, so sort of same as there. Just give us a quick prediction then, Jack. What do you think the score's going to be?
I think it'll be tight and nervy. Wouldn't be surprised to see a KG 1-0 win to Sunderland again, like we did last Saturday.
Right, fair enough. Terry, what do you think? Oh, here we go. The
old favourite 2-1 to Sunderland.
Terry's gone for a 2-1. I'm going to go for a 2-0. Hopefully, we're going to get to keep another clean sheet. That would be good. That just about wraps it up. 99 likes. If one more person just hits that thumbs up, we're going to hit the 100, which we do like to do on a Thursday. Listen, thanks for joining us, lads. Jack, you've been absolutely superb. Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I've been great. I always enjoy it on your channel, Phil. It's fantastic. I'll talk about Sunderland all day. It's no problem for me.
Nice one. Terry, you've been very good tonight. There was no French coming out of you, which was a good thing also. It's
good to have someone on the show who is actually can talk decent football, and Jack, you know what I mean? Listen to my dribble all the time.
There you go. That really does wrap it up from us on a Thursday night here. Don't forget, we are back on Saturday. Tommy will be doing a live stream of the game. Terry, do you want to plug your live stream?
I'm not doing one. I'm doing a vlog.
Oh, no, of course you're... it's the
doing a vlog on Saturday. Go to the match, man, for the hour.
Yeah, sorry, man. So everybody, all of Terry's fans, if you tune into SAFC Fan TV, you'll see what a great job Tommy does. He's doing a live stream of the home game as well. So that really does wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget the One Football app. You can download it. In fact, I'll come on and I'll tell you about it before the end. Lads, say bye.
See you later, everyone.
See you. And this is me before we go. Bye. SAFC have teamed up with our sponsors, One Football. This is a superb football app and the only app any football fan will need. You can keep bang up to date with all the latest news coming out of your club. Transfer news when the transfer windows are open, see where you stand in the league. All the league tables are on there. Any information you need regarding football is in the app. You can download it for free via the link in the description. Do it now. And once again, thanks to One Football for sponsoring SAFC Fan TV.